Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today, we're discussing the Oris Aquis GMT Date. It's both of those things. It is a GMT and a date, as well as a capably water-resistant sports watch. So it is 43.5 millimeters in diameter. It's 13.1 millimeters thick, and from lug to lug, 50 millimeters across the wrist. You can see that the end link of the bracelet is pivoted, so that 50 millimeter distance across the wrist is the total distance across the wrist. We'll throw it on mine, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it wears quite well. It's surprisingly easy to wear. The lugs are slightly sloped, so they fall away at the edge of the wrist. So I think you could probably wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. It's also remarkably thin due to the use of a SW330 movement. It's not nearly as thick as a highly water-resistant automatic complication normally would be. The bracelet's a nice piece. As you can see, it's thoughtfully designed. Oris uses screws and bars to fit the bracelet to the case, which is a nice, durable, and secure way of assembling a bracelet and case. There's a little bit of a taper to the bracelet. You can see it as an integrated design, so you're going to have to use Oris's bracelet and Oris's straps to get something very custom made. The bracelet has polished outer links. It has satin outer faces. It has satin primary links down the center. And you can see impressively for the price point, Oris is using screw-fixed removable links, and there are quite a few of them. You can also see that there are half links built in there for fine sizing. We have a thick gauge clasp, single fold deployment with a twin trigger release system for security. And then internally, we have both a fold out dive style extension and then 3 divots, so you can use your strap tool to change the anchoring point of the bracelet inside of the clasp to fine tune the fit. So you've got a couple of different ways to adjust the fit on this clasp. Rolling back to the case, it's anything but an integrated lug design. So unlike, say, an Omega Seamaster or Rolex Sub, here the lugs really do jump out from the case flank, so they're visibly very separate. Both feature a little bit of satination. The odd thing here is that there's almost some negative tumble home to the case. Instead of having a vertical case or a case that arcs out and grows taller as you approach the bezel, this case actually tilts inward, which is a little bit unusual but attractive. And you can see that the bezel is polished for contrast with the satin case flank. The lug hoods are also polished. The crown guards are screw fixed and replaceable in case you gouge them. And then we have a screw down crown with an Oris logo outboard and a thick knurling. Screw down crown, 300 meters water resistant. This watch is dive style, but it is not a dive watch because it does not have a unidirectional rotating dive bezel. It has a 24-hour GMT style bezel. The timepiece has a ceramic insert within the bezel, and it has a separate 24-hour hand. So you can set this hand to a separate time zone from the local hand, and this hand moves at half the speed. You can see there's a 24-hour scale inboard of the hour track. That's how you read that second time zone. If you set that time zone, for example, to Greenwich Mean Time, then you use the GMT offset of your destination airport. Let's say we have an airport that is 4 hours ahead. Well, we move 4 hours ahead, and you can see at the destination airport, it is 12:12. So that's how that works. The watch has a blue metallic dial base with a large applique rhodium-plated hour indices, rhodium-plated steel hands. Let's take a quick look at the lume. And you can see that it's blue lume. And I'm happy to say Oris looms the bezel, even though it is not a dive bezel, it can be used for light-duty timing. Remember, though, it's not unidirectional, so it's not a life-saving bezel. Use it for timing, not as a backup dive timer. Taking a quick look now at how everything works. Because this is a Sellita SW330 movement, which is basically Sellita's version of an ETA 2893, we have both a quick set for the hour hand, that is the 24-hour hand, and a quick set for the date. So we have a quick set for both. Now, a lot of GMT watches, like the Rolex GMT Master, for example, they do not have a quick set for the date. You have to move the local hour hand around and around to advance the date. The nice thing about this architecture is that you do get a quick set for the date. You do get, of course, the hacking seconds function we just saw, and then a quick set for the 24-hour hand. Not a whole lot to see through the case back. Oris puts a red rotor on the Sellita. The Sellita here is, again, the SW330, which is based on the architecture of a 2892, and it's equivalent to a 2892 converted for a second time time zone, which would be called a 2893. It's a bidirectional automatic winder. It has a 4 hertz beat rate, pivots on 25 joules. It has a 42-hour power reserve, and of course the 2 independent time zones. And that's what's important to know, because it is based on the 2892 architecture and not the 2824, which would be a Sellita SW220. This watch can be as thin as it is at just over 13 millimeters. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.